let's just settle into a nice, comfortable, thanks, Shayla. A nice, comfortable seated posture. So you can have both feet flat on the floor. You don't have to sit in a cross-legged position. So the sides of the feet, the soles, and the big toe mound and the little toe mound, and all of your toe pads. And align your shoulders with your hips. You can have your hands resting very comfortably in your lap. And ears aligned with the shoulders. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen the spine. And then bring your attention to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp. Maybe you can feel some sensation there, your forehead, your eyes, nose, cheeks, and the mouth, and the back of the head, the jaw, back of the tongue. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Take a nice deep breath. Always remember to breathe when you're doing anything, particularly when you're meditating. Be aware of any sounds in your environment. So try to allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow them with the mind. And then be aware of the thoughts that are arising in your mind. So maybe trying not to follow them with the mind, not to engage in the story, and just allow the thoughts to arise and abide. And someone in my class today at the YMCA used the visualization of the thoughts just kind of as bubbles and them just bursting. You can also imagine these thoughts, particularly if they don't serve you, almost like effervescent, just dissolving. So it's always also good to remember to be objective about what you're seeing. Try just observing, try not to judge, take a step back and, be like a scientist. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So start with the people that you love. Just see their face. You know the way they smile, or you hear their laugh. And then there's those people you don't like so much. Then there's our strangers. It's always good to remember that these relationships are interchangeable. And all these people are equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, thinking particularly of all the people up in Tame, all the people in the Sulukumbu have relatives there. It's also a time of year where a lot of the lodge owners are in Kathmandu, so it's quite possible that many people who would normally be there in the trekking season were not. So we're off season now there. I just think of all those people. And they also don't have emergency services quite the same way we do. It takes 3 days for anybody to get up there. Particularly if it's foggy, the helicopters can't get up there either. So it's just a little bit difficult. So anyway, think of those folks as we do the meditation this evening, as we are safe and warm in our homes with everything that we need, lights that turn on, phone that works. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change this by creating positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So it's not that we're needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you can imagine this beautiful Buddha above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. You can also imagine that this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then there's people who've harmed you. And so have a strong wish for them to be free from suffering, because the harm they've caused you is going to manifest sometime down the track for them as suffering. So I think I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy. So this is the third of the 4 opponent powers. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva, imagine, very compassionately sends powerful nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. And then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. And so just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorekta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anorekta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And that includes yourself, because you're going to be hearing what you're saying. And the next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same, you walk into a room that's dark, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine as the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, are all instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. So now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity is left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we have this power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without making a decision that I don't want to harm, I need to get up and go out the door, without making any kind of decision, nothing's going to happen. So we have to decide if we want to do something. So here we decide. And this determination, this aspiration to not harm becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new and different directions. So we are creating new neural pathways in our brain. So then think, how amazing, how fantastic I turned up here tonight, particularly those of you on the East Coast, because it's very late now. So really rejoice in your effort. And then think of something you'd like to work on. Maybe you do a lot of, negative self-talk, or you ruminate about things that maybe aren't even going to happen in the future. You don't even know, you just sort of make it up. But in a way, we kind of torture ourselves this way. So maybe you could give that up for a little bit, or even develop an awareness around when you're doing it. So even that, developing an awareness about things that would be good to work on that don't really serve you or others. Fantastic. So think, Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, and he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. So you think in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now we do 3 verses of chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. With eyes wide open like white lotuses, his face just like a lily in full bloom, while shaking in his hand repeatedly a vajra of the highest excellence, accompanied by countless vajrapanis with features such as fierce, turbulent brows, subduers of the hard-to-tame heroes appearing with heroic, hideous forms, brandishing in their hands their mighty vajras, the tips of which emit intensive light, great benefactors to all living beings, through skill, through insight, and through great compassion. All right, we just do 3 a night. Okay, everybody. Dr. Karen, Lou, Shayla, Michael, Dani, Alexandra the Angel, and Coral, Marion, Ginny, Brenda in Hawaii, Bill, Lorraine, Jay in Australia, Kimberly, Kathleen, and Alice. Lots of love. Have a wonderful weekend. Many prayers, sweet dreams, and I will see you all on Monday. Okay, stay safe. Bye, everybody. Thank you.